Guys, Mark, we're in the lab today and we've got something new for the Jeep Gladiator, so stay tuned. What's up, guys? So today we have a new product. Actually saw this at Jeep Beach and was kind of intrigued by it. And next thing you know, a gentleman, Jay, who's with us today, actually saw it, purchased it, and posted in the Florida Gladiator group that he had got one. And I reached out and said, hey man, love to check it out. I was thinking about getting it for my Gladiator. So he's here today and we're going to go ahead and install this kit from Reaper Off-Road. All right, guys, we got it open. Pretty simple. Came in a pretty big box, way bigger than the actual piece, but we're basically going to be removing part of this guy. We're actually going to be cutting this out and dropping this new insert down into it. So this, guys, is actually going to go in. It does have locks. We've got to put locks in it. It does have lights. Tie the lights in. That way when you open it up, you can see. But what a lot of people are using this for, and I think even Reaper did, was recovery gear inside. Obviously, you can do anything you want with it. Already has springs in there, already has the gasket. So pretty much we're going to be cutting today, installing with, I believe, some self-tappers, tying in the lights, and then putting our locks. So pretty simple kit. You know, as usual, first thing you do, lay everything out. Make sure you've got it all. They've got some instructions here for it, how to tie everything in. They've got the light kit that comes with it. So I guess now our first thing is to start getting on that. All right, so we went ahead and removed these two clips here. We moved the wire out of the way. Next step, guys, is going to be cutting. So they say right here along the inside, follow this down right here along the inside, and then we're actually going to be following the inside portion here. Obviously, guys, be careful with your cut wheel. You're not doing anything. Once we cut the perimeter, they're actually wanting us to cut a line right here down the center and remove this piece. And the reason why we're doing that is so that we can get to this guy here and a couple other components. So once we cut the perimeter, we're going to be cutting straight down the center. All right, guys, so we have cut the outside, we removed the inside. Next part, the S bracket they're talking about is this guy here. It actually comes along here, drops down, goes under, and then reattaches. So basically, we've cut all this out. This was kind of attached and holding it. As you can see now, we move it, and this bracket is not moving, which is good because we don't want to. Obviously, that's for the tailgate latch. So now we've got to take our knife and slowly and carefully cut underneath here to separate the foam so that this piece here will be removed from the tailgate. Go ahead, guys, undo all your wiring harness that go here. Make sure those are out of the way. So we're going to start taking our utility knife, cutting that very carefully, because remember, guys, this is the outside of your tailgate. So you don't want it to be all warped. You don't want to drill anything through here. So be very careful on that. So just take this guy get in there and run along. Be careful, these are for the badges. And then again, you got this guy all unhooked out of the way. There we go. All right, so we've got these guys pulled out of the way. We took our box knife, ran it along under here, easily separated that. Be careful for these guys. That's your badging, your Gladiator badging on the other side. The wires are out of the way. There we go. So now what we're gonna do, we already did vacuum up with the shop vac a little bit. So now we're just gonna prep the area. I'm gonna go in with a different cutter. I'm gonna scrape all this up. I'm gonna vacuum. I still do have to test fit, so I'm sure I do have to do a little bit more cutting in here and a little bit in here. I didn't really stress about that in the initial cut because I knew I would have to fine tune anyway. So, but yeah, the tailgate is opened up and time to clean up and do some test fitting. All right, guys, so this one is done for now. Again, we're going to definitely have to test fit. I'm sure we're going to have to trim a little bit more here, but we've got all the wires undone. We've got it. Now we're moving over to the actual box. So next step is the accent plate, which we've got here. This guy here, it goes up underneath the back. So we've got a couple nuts here, 2 1/4-inch nuts with a 7/16. And then we're gonna be installing the light kit for this now. All right, guys, so with the lights, a little confusing here. It says feed the light through the tunnel. All right, so when you do the wires, guys, you're gonna have to slide that first light, the end of it, the one that has nothing on the end, you're gonna have to slide it from left to the right. That way this guy will sit here and the remaining wire will come down through this channel. Notice that the right side doesn't have that channel, only the left one does. So we're gonna go ahead, we got these here. We're gonna pull the 3M tape and get them set up. All right, so pull back a little bit of the 3M tape, then you're actually gonna take, you can see how tiny these screws are here. We're gonna fish a little bit of that wire back out of the way to the other side. But once you get these guys on there, you're gonna do both sides with the bolts and the nuts, leave it loose, then you'll pull off the 3M backing and then adhere those guys, and then we can tighten up the nuts and bolts. But it's gonna be a little tricky because these guys are tiny. All right, next up is gonna be our 2 magnetic. This guy here with the wire is gonna go up top, and then our other one is gonna go on the inside here. As you can see, there's no nuts with them because they are threaded here, so don't have to use any nuts on the back, which is nice. Wish they would have done that up here because that was a little tricky getting in there, but let's get these latches on. They got 3M tape on the back side too. All right, so coming down, you got the little shorter loop that comes off. I'm gonna plug that in here. Now we're gonna feed this guy back through here, pull it tight, and then we're gonna work with these guys, what they're calling the gland, the cable gland.
Seal in there?
Yep. All right, so we got it installed. We pulled a little bit of the wire out. Again, make sure the lid was open so that when it opens and closes, it's not pulling on the wire. I don't know, we probably got about, what, 10 inches, I think, hanging out the back now. And then the seal goes on the inside here when that presses up. All right, next on to the latches. So once you get your latches out, get your seal out, go ahead and put the seal on. It's pretty simple. It tells you which direction they go, but obviously one's curved, one's straight. So that should help and make it pretty simple. And then it's got the clip and screw on there. So that's what we are going to tighten down. And then we're gonna check the adjustment on it, make sure that it's all good to go. So once you get that guy in, this guy, screw, that's what locks the hinge in there. All right, so obviously we've got to power what is in here. So you run it underneath up the passenger side to the battery area. You're gonna make a hole here once you depress this plug. The biggest thing is obviously when you drill that hole, you make sure that there's nothing on the back side. So we used a little step bit here, which was perfect. Made the hole big enough for the connection. So now we can actually put this guy back in. And then we are going to run this wire through the same hole that the factory stuff is coming through. And then don't forget, you got to secure all that to underneath the Gladiator. One thing we forgot to mention was make sure, guys, that you file this all down. Take a flap disc, take a file, whatnot, smooth all these edges out just since you're working around it. If you want to go that extra step, take you some nice paint, seal this all off, but it's up to you. So we are going to wire this guy up. I still got to zip tie up everything underneath, so we're going to knock that out now. All right, now that we've got all our power ran, we're going to be setting this in place. It's time to mark and drill out all these holes. Then it's going to be time to use our the screws provided to go ahead and grab and put in here. We're getting there close. Almost done. Stay away from it. What's up, guys? So we just finished the install. Definitely only need one person to do it. I'd say from start to finish, probably 2.5 hours, just because you are cutting, you're close to some wire, so take your time with that. Don't really need anything special except for a cut wheel, some safety gear. The only thing I think it didn't include that we did need were terminals for the wires to land onto the battery. If you've got a S-Pod or a rough country switch or whatever, you can just land those on there. But if you're going straight to the battery like we are for right now, you'll need a couple ends to hook onto the terminal. But other than that, pretty neat install. You can see the video, we put some recovery gear already in it. I've got some other thoughts on maybe some stuff that could go in there. Don't want to get censored or anything on Facebook, so I won't say that, or YouTube. But probably about 2.5 hours, cut wheel, some Sharpies. You do need a certain size drill bit, so check that out before you do the install. It's got some like pseudo self-tapper screws, so you need to make sure you have the right drill bit, not too big, not too small for those to go in. But other than that, pretty simple install. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time.